And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals of ESL Open Cup Americas, number 239. Whew, it's been quite an intense series or bracket so far. We've had some ups, we've had some downs, but now we have made it to the top 4 of this week's tournament. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless. It is NightMare. One of the favorites for the entire tournament, and spawning in the... Oh. No! As it looks like we have some latency issues here, and we are losing our Brazilian caster. Feels bad, man. Rocklets! Emil! Not like this. Unfortunately, it looks like he might lag out, but I'm sure he'll join us. I'm sure he'll join us in the upcoming matches if he's able to resolve those internet issues. Happens to the best of us. Happens to me as well every now and then, especially during ESL Americas. The internet does like to cut out from time to time. I've been there. Much love to Rocklets, and I wish him the best. I hope he can resolve those issues as we're jumping into our next game. No, wait, to our semifinals. If you're in the chat, predictions will soon be open, so you can place your bets on who you believe will take the series. And a shout out to Baby Links in the chat. Thank you so much, God, Papi God. 27 months subscribing in a row. Thank you so much for the support. Gracias. Gracias, Baby Links. Gracias. And here we go. In the top left-hand corner, we have the Red Zerg player representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Wayne. So get your gamma going. Predictions are open in the chat. And we're here to determine our first finalist of the week of the tournament. Who's it going to be? As Wayne opening up pool first. Interesting. Okay, pool first open out of Wayne. The drone moves out across the map. We're going for another proxy hatch. We're going for another hatch block. Okay. Wayne, he just flexed his build against Patty Mac and now is going for it here against NightMare as well. The drone is in position and the hatchery has been thrown down. Pool first into a hatch block into a gas geyser. Interesting. Also, I was just eating an empanada. Papi. But here we go. The hatchery's been thrown down. This does force workers off the mineral line. It's going to be 5 probes. I guess 6 in total here for NightMare to focus down that hatchery to make sure it does not finish and to force a cancel. We'll see if Wayne can get the eBay block, or I keep saying eBay block, the Evo block in the aftermath. We'll see if he can cancel, then throw it down once again. Meanwhile, NightMare's in position, forcing Wayne to expand elsewhere. We'll take the natural back at home. And again, we should be getting that cancel, should be upon us momentarily. There it is. Hatchery is cancelled. The drone being as annoying as possible. Gonna try and delay the expansion a little bit longer, but the Nexus can now be thrown down. And it looks like, oh, it barely will. We do get the Nexus. Meanwhile, across the map, Wayne going for his much later expansion. But interesting, he's rushing into link speed and he is staying in gas. You do not stay in gas without a good reason. We're staying in, but we're staying in. The probe will not confirm, so NightMare's in the dark as to the gas saturation. And do we throw down the Bailey Nest or the Roach Warren? What's it going to be? Where are we spending our gas? There it is, Bailey Nest. Okay. It's going to be full hatch gas into a Bane bust out of Wayne. He's going to be flooding across the map. He's still mining gas, of course, for those Banelings. Meanwhile, across the map, the drone is finally cleaned up. And Wayne, he does skirt around the edge. He does hide his Lings, at least initially. Hides the Lings. Adepts are moving out. Adepts are going to be out of position. We're banking, reinforcing Lings back at home to deal with the initial Adepts. And across the map, these Lings, I'm sure, are about to morph into Banelings. Oh boy. Here we go. It's all or nothing for Wayne. Can he pop off? As NightMare does threaten the shade. More Lings on the way. We're cutting workers at 15. Like, no saturation. No drones. Barely any drones have been made this game. 15 drones. That is it. That is all we have. Banelings are morphing in. 4 Banes on the way. I'm sure we're hoping for, there we go, a 5th and soon to be a 6th Baneling as well. Adepts confirm lack of saturation. They're racing back home, but the Lings are on the hunt. Up! And they will catch him. We get a surround. Both Adepts do get surrounded. They get shut down. Back at home, what do we have? We have 1 Adept. We have a shield battery on the way. We have another shield battery as well. But the Banelings, they crash in. They knock down the Adept. Do we wall off? Oh no! Oh, we barely do. We barely wall off in time. But we're getting surrounded on the gateway. The gateway's going to fall. Stalker's on the way. It doesn't pop out in time. It's going to be close. It will. Stalker does pop out. We're getting until the Cyber Core. Warp Gate is on the way, but it's not going to finish. It's close. It's so close to finishing. 3 seconds. The shield battery helps. The shield battery keeps the Prism alive, so it keeps the Cyber Core alive. That's a kill on the Gateway. That's a kill on the Stalker as well. And the Cyber Core, and we are breaking in. And it looks like Wayne is done. A GG gets called. Wayne, he breaks on through, and he will take game number 1. GG. A very, very intense game 1 there. Wayne, interesting build overall, going for a pull first. It was a pull first into the hatch block, into a faster gas, into a delayed expansion, into just a Bane bust, into a 1 base all in. 15 drones is all that Wayne had, and he was able to catch NightMare with his pants down. The pants were down, Papi. NightMare, his depths were out on the map. NightMare wasn't able to fully wall off, had the shield battery, but even with the shield battery, it just wasn't enough to survive and to make it through. To survive the aggression, to survive the Bane bust, was not ready for it. And just like that, Wayne is a 1 game away from making it to the grand finals. Una más. 1 more is all he needs. And NightMare, how do we respond? How do we follow this up as we're leading into Site Delta as game 2? No, we're getting ready for Site Delta. Let's go. Hi. Intense game, baby. Intense game. Alright, getting ready for game 2. You hear the beats, we are loading in. I'm sure NightMare is maybe going to have a bit of a safer approach here. I mean, it's Side Delta, it's much more defendable natural, it's much more defendable setup overall, with the ramp coming into the natural as well. And here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Side Delta, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless, down in the series. Can he bounce back? Can we force the ace match? I'm hoping we can get a game 3, but our eyes are on our player here. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Red Zerg player representing Starlight Twinkle, leading the series 1-0 with a wild build in game 1. What do you have in store for us here in game 2? It is Wayne. Here we go. As the drone this time is kept back at home. This time it's going to be a hatch first out of Wayne, not going for the hatch block, not going for any early game shenanigans yet. Not this time. So it looks like a much more standard hatch gas pull initially out of Wayne. Initially. Probe Scout will confirm. Probe Scout's a little bit later. Again, Site Delta is a much larger map, has a longer rush distance by ground. And NightMare would be able to block the expansion. Not with this Probe Scout timing. NightMare confirming the timing of the gas, the timing of the spawning pool, is aware that this time it's a much more standard opener out of Wayne. Much more standard. As a NightMare is just, again, keeping tabs on Wayne, just making sure everything's as it should be, being as annoying as possible. Herb does have to get the hell out of there. As it is attempting to force inefficient mining. Spawning pool is done. Queens are on the way back at home. We're setting up our tech of choice. We have a pylon thrown down closer to the edge of the main, so this should be a Stargate opener out of NightMare. Does look to be the case. So we can settle into the mid game. So sooner throw down a tech of choice. So it is Stargate, has been thrown down. It's just an Oracle opener into a third standard setup here out of NightMare. And Wayne has not really doubled down on anything. You can see here he's pulled out of gas, so we're not rushing into a Bailey Nest, not rushing into a Roach Warren. It's just going to be link speed into minerals being prioritized. We're just going to be prioritizing mineral income here. Joining up, saturating our bases. Getting into our third. And settling in. Okay, so after an intense game 1, we can take a moment to breathe. We can calm things down at least a little bit. We can embrace a longer ZVP. We'll see what unit of choice is going to come out first for NightMare. Should be an Oracle, but we have seen Void Ray and even Phoenix openers out of NightMare this time. Oracle is on the way. I see in the chat, Pecoeta. Zerg still exists. Ah, true. Fun fact, last night we had purely TVTs in ESL Asia. We had the TVT semis, both semis into the finals. Meanwhile, the weekend was purely PvP. Purely PvPs over the weekend. Finally, we get a Zerg in the semis. But again, I'm hoping we can get some more Zerg action over the course of the event. Just for some diversity. You know, I'd like to cast some Zerg players sometimes in the tournament. It would be nice. Would appreciate it. A little bit. As the Oracle moves out, clears up some of the creep. Third base being taken. NightMare is expanding back at home. Again, just triple Oracle into a third base. Economic opener out of NightMare. As he is just keeping tabs on Wayne. Likewise, Wayne joining up. Just now getting back into gas income. To gas saturation. And we'll see if Wayne skips the Roach Warren. That's what I'm paying attention to. If we skip the Roach Warren, this could be Ling Hydra, could be Ling Muta as well. Muta is also viable in ZVP. Oracle dips in. Ooh, quick Spore Trick out of Wayne. Does save both drones. The drones are saved. Oracle rotating around. Queens are more or less keeping up. We get up. Not even a drone kill. The Oracle does run out of energy, and with that, we do defend. Nice defense so far to Wayne. Plus on melee on the way. No Roach Warren whatsoever, so it looks like it is going to be Ling Hydra. Or again, could be Ling Muta. We'll see what tech structure gets thrown down. We'll see how much gases we take. We'll see where we end up. Meanwhile, NightMare transitioning into +1 and Blink. It's going to be a Forge and Twilight Council after the expansion. Standard follow-up here, just +1 and Blink into the mid-game. We'll see if we go for a Gateway Explosion. We could still work towards a 3-base all-in, but we should be taking it. Should be taking. Lings get us around. Means coming into support as well. The Oracle, ooh, it does take a lot of damage, but will escape. The Oracle does get away, just barely. That episode cleaned up. Wayne moving out. And will hit the third. Won't get much damage done. We have a shield battery, we have an overcharge. We have nice SimCity. NightMare will deflect the army. NightMare will defend. And we have our tech of choice. It is not the Spire, it is, in fact, the Hydrogen. So, Ling Hydra out of Wayne. Taking his gases. Skipping some of his tech. It can be greedy. Oh god, it can be greedy to skip the Roach Warren, and we have done so. Meanwhile, Stasis in the main. Massive connection. Half the mineral line does get stuck. Half the mineral line is trapped. Nice moves out of NightMare, especially considering that NightMare hasn't killed that many drones. Looking at the units lost tab, only 2 drones. These were the first 2 drones going down. So far, Wayne has been keeping up and has been having a beautiful defense against the Oracles until now, until the Stasis. So finally, NightMare getting some damage. Meanwhile, Ling Rumbai is set up. There's not much at home to defend, but we do have, yeah, Summon Eps. There are Summon Eps in position. We have the shield battery as well. Ling shouldn't get much done. But they can threaten the gateways. We'll force a cancel. Ooh, if we cancel one, we kill the other. Not bad. Meanwhile, NightMare moving out. Back at him, he's taking up, working towards charge, working towards Archon production. NightMare is being a little bit assertive, but is really just poking in, doesn't want to commit. When Wayne has drone up to a nice worker count here, 72 drones. Very healthy worker counts. We're on full base saturation. 5th hatchery has been thrown down, and Wayne is focusing on purely Ling Hydra production. Massing up Ling Hydra, knocking down those rooks. And our goal here is to knock down the 3rd base thereafter. Storm is almost halfway done. Storm is going to be a massive factor here in this push, as it's all things light. You know, we have Lings, we have Hydras, they will melt against the Storms. Meanwhile, double Robo on the way. Getting ready for Immortal and potentially Colossus production. Lings are spotted. At the same time, we do knock down the 4th. And the Nexus is denied. Wayne doesn't commit yet. We do have some stasis. We do trigger the Lings, not bad. Lings and Hydras get caught. But at the same time, Wayne is trying to break into that natural base. Doesn't quite break through. So far, NightMare holding well. And Storm is done. We have the first Storm towards the left. And Wayne backs off. Yeah, the stasis traps were brutal. They basically made a force field here. Did not allow Wayne in. And we're going in once again. We're going for the High Templar. No more Storms. Uh-oh. No more Storms left over. We're trying to break through the main army. Hydras have arrived. We get a full surround. And it looks like Wayne is barely breaking through. We shut down the Archons. We shut down the Stalkers as well. Even with the Storms, we only had the one. We had a zoning Storm, but not enough Storms. The connections were not good enough. GG gets called, and Wayne, he will break through. He will take the series 2-0. And we have a Zerg player in the finals. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Wayne with a brutal timing again, joining up to 72 workers very fast and cutting worker production there, then and there at 72, focusing on purely Ling Hydra. He had a nice spread of units. He was able to bait out the Storms. Again, we did not have a juicy connection with the Storms. We had High Templar banking energy, but the Storms were wasted. They were spent. And without Storms, we could not defend. We could not hold. We could not survive. Wayne. GG. GG, well played.